Hi, this is Joker S. Long time no see, and let's talk a bit about Dahmer, Jeffrey Dahmer, which I have tattooed on my wrist, along with Jeffree Star as Yin and Yang. I've watched Netflix show Dahmer Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. I watched it in 3 days, 4 times, and I'm still watching single bits of it. I've been always an enthusiast for Jeffrey Dahmer. No, I'm not a psychopath, and no, I'm not a serial killer or anything like that. But I was always impressed by what he did. And I always had sympathy for his loneliness. And that's why I decided to do his name, and I will include the video I recorded a few years before. This Netflix series is the best Jeffrey Dahmer on screen ever, ever, totally ever, because it presents him as a person, but it doesn't romanticize him. It doesn't, and it shows perspective from all the other people, like Glenda Cleveland, all the neighbors mixed into the character of Glenda Cleveland. There are some things which are wrong. For example, Tracy, the guy from the beginning or the end of the story, he wasn't gay. He was just a friend of Dahmer's who he met somewhere else, not in the gay bar. But it doesn't matter. This, the monster, is the best show. God, I can't stop watching that show because it's impressing me so much. It's impressing me more than anything ever. I rarely love TV shows. I mean, I love, like, I don't know, How to Get Away with Murder, but it's a mockery when you compare it to Dahmer. And I think Peter Evans should get all the awards he could possibly get for this role, because it's a really hard role. It's hard to get into the spirit and the personality of such a psychopathic serial killer and perform it in such a wonderful way. I am the person with Jeffrey Dahmer tattoo. I'm the person with tattoo and drilled skull, you see. So listen what I had to say before this, and I'm thankful for this show because it summarizes the best, because all the other TV movies and shit like that, or like no, just like stupid horror movies or some boring dramas. Like My Friend Dahmer was so boring, and if you do not have a pre-knowledge about it, you don't understand anything. This is awesome. And listen to what I had to say, I think 2 years ago. Hi, people of the world. This is a spontaneous video. Excuse my nails. I'm getting them done, and it's not doing well, so whatever. I decided to make a little spontaneous video about Jeffrey Dahmer because a lot of people ask me why I tattooed his name here on my wrist, which is, as far as I know, illegal in some states in America. I'm not sure. Oh, well, I tattoo this. People think it's some kind of shit to provoke others, but it's not. It's actually my tribute to Jeffrey, because I found love for him, I found forgiveness for him, and why? Why? I decided to tell you why. Please excuse me, because I'm not a native English speaker, and this is a spontaneous video. Well, I was always interested in forensic psychology, but in my country, which is a shit heap, as British would say, somewhere in Europe, close to Italy, but we're not Italy at all, not even close to Italy by state of mind of people here. I kind of studied Jeffrey since I was 20 until I was 26. I was really detailed about it, if you know what I mean. Sorry if I'm using wrong expressions. I was really interested in Jeffrey, and right now I'm 34, and I've got kinda nothing to live for here, but whatever. Anyways, people ask why I tattooed it. I studied him very seriously because he was a very interesting person to me. I watched all the movies I could. I even went to dark side of the internet to find those which weren't available to download or stream online. I watched the whole trial, which is like, I don't know, I don't remember very well. I don't know, it's like 30 hours or more, I'm not sure. I read all the books and all the paperwork I could find online, even on the dark side of the internet. I read his father's book, Father's Story. And I can tell you, the latest movie, my friend Jeffrey, which was popular last year or 2 years ago, it's bullshit. The point of my little investigation, which lasted for 6 years, is that Jeffrey is not a bad person. And that's why I found love for him. Through his interviews and books written by psychologists and everybody, everything available, I read it all. I realized he was a psychopath. Okay, and psychopaths is something you can't become. You're born as one, and nobody is guilty for that. Your parents can't produce you. They can produce some other psychic problems, such as borderline personality disorder and stuff like that, with their behavior and stuff, in the way they treat you when you were a child. But psychopaths are born like psychopaths, and nobody's guilty of that, even though his father can't forgive himself and he always thinks he's guilty. But no, he was a psychopath. So okay, and necrophile. Born is one. You can't become one. No matter how hard you try, it's the same thing as you're like born straight or born gay. You can't become that. So nobody is guilty of that. And Jeffrey's motive, which I realized during my 6-year-long investigation, private investigation online. My boyfriend in that time told me I'm sick and I'm not supposed to do that. So I kept it a secret, my investigation. His motive was what? He was disappointed in life, in his romantic relationships, because people always leave. You know, you probably have the same experiences. People date you, love you, claim they're gonna marry you, and one day they disappear and treat you like a piece of shit. That happened to Jeffrey, as far as I understood. And he wanted people to shut the fuck up. Why? Because people talk only about themselves. Only about themselves. They talk. Me, myself, and I all the time. And when you want to say something serious, if you have a problem or anything like that, they ignore it because it's not about themselves. So he got sick of it. And why he did what he did? He did it because he wanted them to stay and he wanted them to shut the fuck up. He was actually misunderstood and sad person, unhappy, and why he did it, the way he did it, with putting them to sleep first, so his method wasn't actually really painful. At least he hoped so. He did because he's a psychopath, but his intention was good. He wanted them to stay and he wanted them to shut up. And yeah, he was a necrophile, so he ended up jerking off on that. You know what he did. If you found this video online, you probably know what I'm talking about. So he couldn't help himself. Fucking lucky strike. Something is wrong. You see? Whatever. He couldn't help himself. And he was a sad person. And that's why he's not a bad person. He had the best intention, but he was a psychopath, and he couldn't help it. He even stopped for, I don't remember how many years, because I was doing a research like 10 years ago, almost. But I found forgiveness for him. and I kind of find myself in what he said. I wanted him to stay, and I wanted him to shut up. I'm not a psychopath, so I'm not doing what he did. I'm just sad girl, and when somebody dumps me, I cry, and I'm like, fuck you, and stuff like that. Casual things girls do. But psychopath found his own way of dealing with bad relationships and shit. And okay, that's why I've got his name tattooed. And that's my tribute to him. It's not to provoke anybody. And I don't give a fuck if I can't go to some states of United States of America. I don't give a fuck about that because America was never my thing. But I wanted that tattoo for a long time, and I had it done on a visible place because I really appreciate Jeffrey. Call me a psychopath. If you do so, you're dumb, because it kind of explained kind of well why. Yeah. I always wanted to be a forensic psychologist, but no, I'm just a Academy of Fine Arts dropout, sort of, and was a Playboy journalist in my stupid country. Where it is, it doesn't matter.